Donald Trump is doing his best to burn down the institutions of America, including the Postal Service and our right to vote, because he loses the 2020 election if he doesn't. Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Donald Trump yesterday basically calling on his followers to commit a felony. There's a woman in Texas who's serving 5 years in jail, not for voting twice, but just for voting while she was a felon. She wasn't allowed to vote, by the laws of Texas. She didn't realize that. But hey, she's black, so she's in jail. And Trump was encouraging people to violate the same kinds of laws. These, vote in ways you're not supposed to vote laws. And he was doing it in North Carolina, where it is a felony to vote twice. Exactly the way he described. And it is a felony to encourage another person to commit a felony. So here you've got the President of the United States committing a felony. He did it twice, actually. Committing a felony right in front of everybody. Then the Attorney General, the chief law enforcement officer of the country, is asked about it. And he's like, well, I don't know if it's illegal or not. As if to say, well, I don't care if it's illegal or not. So what's going on here? Well, what's happening is that Trump is a loser. He's been a loser his entire life. He stole $400 million from his daddy's estate and pissed it away. His father had to come into his casino with $1 million in cash and buy chips to help keep Donald afloat. He's such an incompetent businessman, he can't make money on a casino. Please tell me who else, any casino owner in history who failed running a casino. Really? He failed running an airline. He failed running a steak company. He failed running a vodka company. His real estate empire only exists because Deutsche Bank was willing to loan him $2 billion, which he's still living on. He screwed his investors. People put hundreds of millions of dollars into his casinos, and they lost everything. Trump paid himself. This guy's a loser. The only thing he's ever been successful at in his life is pretending to be somebody other than who he is on the Celebrity Apprentice show. That's it. And he knows that he's going to lose. He knows he's going to lose this election, so he's trying to burn down the system within which he's going to lose, so that he can say, oh, well, you can't trust that system, right? You can't trust those votes because people were voting twice. North Carolina, it looks, the polls show that I might be losing in North Carolina. We're going to take it right off the table. Or maybe it's part of a plan to get 2 certifications out of the state for the Electoral College, so that he can throw, because, in particular, it's the more or less purple states, the states that, where Biden's actually ahead right now. Those are the states that Donald Trump needs to refuse to certify the election. If he's going to do a 12th Amendment thing, throw it into the House of Representatives and have the individual states decide who's president, which of course would make it Donald Trump. But he's trying to burn down our election system. He's trying to burn down our post office. Now, truth be told, this is part of a larger 2-year plan that was implemented before Louis DeJoy came along, that has already removed over 600 of these multi-million-dollar machines that can sort millions of pieces of mail a day. And they're not just like removed and held in some warehouse for scrap or something. They're literally cut into pieces and thrown into dumpsters, because this was part of a plan to privatize the post office, break the service so badly that people will be yelling and screaming and saying, oh my God, the post office doesn't work anymore. Somebody please put FedEx in charge of it. But, in its current moment, he's using it to make it harder for people to vote. He's empowering Republican governors to do what Brian Kemp did, with the election in Georgia. Stacey Abrams was way ahead in the polls, things like that. So, hey, throw 500,000 people off the voting rolls. Greg Palast, his investigative fund, just handed off to the ACLU the names of over 200,000 voters in Georgia who are still where they were before, who Brian Kemp purged from the voting list. Keep in mind, Brian Kemp won that election by 50,000 votes. Stacey Abrams' organization had, or one affiliated with her, had signed up before that election 51,000 African-American voters, and Brian Kemp said, oh, we don't have the manpower to put them on the list. So those people won't be able to vote in the 2018 election. Sorry. And then on top of that, he pulls another 200,000 people off the voting rolls, and he wins by 50,000 votes. This is the only way Republicans can win. Brian Kemp knows it. Chris Kobach knows it. Rick Snyder knew it. Rick Scott down in Florida knew it. I mean, Ron DeSantis knew it. The only way Republicans can win in America, well, there's two ways. Number one, be in a very small, very rural state where everybody watches Fox News. And you know, that you've got that, or cheat, and they're cheating. The vaccine. He's saying, oh, you know, they just notified all the states and some of the territories as well to get ready, because on November 1st you're going to be distributing vaccines. Well, the two leading vaccine candidates right now, coming out of the United States, both require the vaccine to be not just refrigerated, but kept 80 degrees below zero. Now, you know, things may change. But how are you going to get that out? Tell me that again. Plus, I mean, you know, you go back to Jerry Ford's vaccine effort in well, I think it was 76. I forget the year, but whatever the year was. And, you know, people got, Epstein. No, it wasn't Epstein-Barr. It was whatever it was, something Barr. But they got paralyzed. And you had a bunch of people who died because the vaccine hadn't run through phase 3 trials. So, I mean, you know, what if he's just like super lying to us about the vaccine? I think that's the most likely thing. You know, everybody's going to think there's a vaccine. And then the day after the election, it's going to be, oh, well, I guess we're going to have to wait until January because we really need to do these trials. I mean, are we going to discover, keep in mind, November 3rd, are we going to discover on November 4th that there was no there? He's trying to pull funding for cities across America that have Democratic mayors, which is the majority of cities. It's just mind-boggling, you know? It's like, try to hurt your political enemies. This is not something a president of the United States has ever done, to the best of my knowledge, which is use the levers of government, use the powers that you have as president to hurt your political enemies and help your political friends. And where is secret police going to go next? You know, they were here in Portland. Apparently they're snatching people off the roads in unmarked vans again. Other Democratic cities, polling stations. I mean, how many of his biker buddies are still alive after the Sturgis rally, and they're going to be showing up at the polls? They say they've got 50,000 of these folks ready to intimidate, you know, black and brown people at the polls.